Welcome to the webinar for Leveraging Your Resources, a tutorial for Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners. My name is Jessie and I am the Western Region Program Coordinator for PASA, which is the Pennsylvania Association for Sustainable Agriculture, and I'm also your Buy Fresh, Buy Local Coordinator. The following presentation is an adaptation from an event hosted on January 12, 2015 at the Pittsburgh Public Market. That was our Buy Fresh, Buy Local Partner Kickoff event. And that event gave an opportunity for folks to meet and network with each other, as well as to learn more about the program and make sure they were really maximizing their resources and getting the most value from the program. So an overview of what we're going to cover today, we'll start off talking about what is Buy Fresh, Buy Local, then why Buy Fresh, Buy Local. We'll go through the images, the website, going beyond the images, get into the details of the program, and then finish up talking about strengthening our movement. So first of all, what is Buy Fresh, Buy Local? And just to start us thinking about this question, let's just take a few moments to look at a couple images here. So as we talk about what is Buy Fresh, Buy Local, you might notice on some of the signs we have Buy Local PA, referencing that this is a program of Pennsylvania, but you'll notice some of the other ones saying Central Coast, Alabama. So when we talk about Buy Fresh, Buy Local, it is actually a national brand, so it is throughout the U.S. It's also a marketing campaign and a network or shared platform, a connector between farms, farmers markets, restaurants, retailers, distributors, and consumers, a resource or educational program for consumers, and finally, it is a social movement. So when we talk about the goals of the program, there are actually two goals. One is to help consumers find, choose, and appreciate great local foods. And the other is to promote our partners who have made a commitment to support local agriculture. So if you are a Buy Fresh, Buy Local partner, you'll likely know what I'm referring to. If not, and if this is new to you, stay tuned and we'll talk more about our partners later. Okay, so Buy Fresh, Buy Local has 70 chapters throughout the U.S. They are coordinated nationally through the Food Roots Network, LLC, which is actually a subsidiary of PASA. And within Pennsylvania, we have 13 chapters alone, and those are overseen by PASA as well. Here in Western Pennsylvania, we have our own chapter, we have our own label and images. And when we talk about what is Western Pennsylvania, if you look at the map of Pennsylvania, this is the way PASA breaks the state down into its different service regions. And Western PA is comprised of 19 counties of Western PA, and they're all listed here. So thinking about a chapter comprised of 19 counties, that's pretty large compared to some of the other chapters throughout the U.S., which might even just be one county alone. So, you know, there's a different chapter structure throughout the U.S. Here in Western PA, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the history of some of our programs. One is called Local Foods Month, which started around the year 2000 as Local Foods Week and expanded around 2009 to a whole calendar of events called Local Foods Month. This is held in September each year and highlights our partners' activities. One of the highlights in 2013 and 14 was an event called Harvest for the Hungry, which was co-sponsored by the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, and gave an opportunity to support farmers markets, the farmers at the markets, and to therefore have consumers can try to promote them to buy an extra bag of produce and donate that to the food bank, who would then match that market up with a local soup kitchen or food pantry. Another event hosted by the East End Food Co-op in Pittsburgh was a local food tasting. And this event gave an opportunity for farmers who sell their products at the co-op to come into the store, as well as other vendors, to sample their products and directly interface with customers and talk to them about their products. So these are just some of the examples of events that can take place during Local Foods Month, which is really an educational opportunity for consumers. Another program that has fallen under Buy Fresh, Buy Local here in Western PA is the Farmers Market Promotion Program, which was run by a grant, USDA grant, through the years of 2012 to 2014. And this program gave us the opportunity to expand our messaging of Buy Fresh, Buy Local to reach out to low-income residents with a focus on the elderly, women with children, and also minorities. Okay, and you'll notice in the image above saying that accepted here, access, farmers market checks, or SNAP. So what we did is really design some nice recipe cards, market rack slips that would include that imaging so folks know that these things are accepted here. Also, we ran some City of Pittsburgh bus ads. We'll get to take a look at that in a moment, and hosted some workshops and webinars for farmers markets to learn how to improve their messaging targeted towards that population. So taking a look at the left-hand side, this is an image of our market rack slips or informational cards. It's a double-sided card, and on the blank white areas where you can enter in your information. So if this is housed at a farm's table at the market, they can, for example, list the different farmers markets that they sell at. If this is housed at the farmers market table at the market, they can maybe list their different vendors that sell at that market. And you'll notice here that it also highlights the access, farmers market checks, or SNAP accepted here. Okay, we also have on the right-hand side a poster in Spanish of the 10 good reasons to buy local. As I mentioned, part of that grant was targeted towards expanding messaging to minorities, and the Hispanic population was one of them. And here are some images from our City of Pittsburgh bus ads that ran. This nice sign was developed, Eat Local, Enjoy the Taste of the Season, that ran on the outside of the bus ads. And then inside the buses was a list of the different farmers markets where food stamps, debit or credit cards would be accepted. So now that we talked a little bit about the history of programming throughout Western PA, I want to talk specifically about Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners. So the partner program is designed for businesses that either produce local foods or that have made a commitment to sell local products, feature local foods, and support local producers. So there are different categories of partners. You'll notice it can be a farm, a farmer's market, restaurant, retailer, winery, brewery, distributor, or other local food providers. So when folks become a part of the program, my question as I was getting to know folks is, why did you become a partner? Why Buy Fresh, Buy Local? And here we have some quotes from a few folks that became Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners, starting off with a few farmers. And so starting off with Joe Bazzelli from 5 Elements Farm, you'll see that for a small investment to become a Buy Fresh, Buy Local partner, we will be able to leverage the resources of Buy Fresh, Buy Local to reach more potential customers in our area looking for wholesome food. If we had to do this ourselves, it would cost us many hundreds of dollars more in advertising to reach the same audience. So when we talked about what is Buy Fresh, Buy Local, it's a marketing campaign, his quote is directly tying into that he was really using it for the marketing assistance. Another perspective comes from Daryl Fry of Three Sisters Farm, and he says, as a permaculture design professional and sustainable community development consultant, I have a strong interest in building safe, secure, and healthful local food systems. Joining Buy Fresh Buy Local allows me to participate in a network of people working towards that goal. Also, as an organic market gardener, Buy Fresh Buy Local provides a valuable, widely recognized marketing tool to promote my farm and our products. So he also touched into the marketing aspect, but this one also contains a little bit more, talking about the network and the local food system and the local food economy. Here are a few more quotes of why a restaurant or a farmer's market became a partner. So Jason Capps from Belisara says, I chose to become a Buy Fresh Buy Local partner to not only support local agriculture, but also to acquire the freshest and most wholesome foods available for my operation. Quality is very important to us, and it is our hope that as awareness and demand grows locally, so will the resources and growers. As the First Green Restaurant Association certified venue in the state, I fully understand the importance of local sourcing and how it allows us to maintain quality and drive revenue to the local level. So it's good to know that we have restaurants also supporting local agriculture and making sure that they're bringing that into their restaurants. And from a farmer's market perspective, we have Rhoda Wharf of the Verona Farmers Market who says, establishing the farmers market in my town created an event that all ages can benefit from and attend, and encouraged camaraderie among the residents in Verona. I became a Buy Fresh Buy Local partner because it provides a solid foundation for promoting fresh and healthy foods. Offering a path to positive health habits will in turn reduce future medical expenses, which is important to community residents. So they're touching on a few other reasons why someone might become involved really for the health aspect, the community aspect. So it really gives a diverse reasoning of why folks become Buy Fresh Buy Local partners. And feel free to send me your reasons to jessie@pasafarming.org. You'll see my contact information at the end of the webinar. So if you are a Buy Fresh Buy Local partner and you'd like to share with me why you became a partner, feel free to send along an email to me as well. So now we're going to get down into the images, because a big part of the program, being the marketing campaign, is the images. Once a partner joins the program, they're given some complimentary signage, and here's just a few examples of some Buy Fresh Buy Local partners displaying their sign in their location. So we have inside Friendship Farms Bakery and also inside the Belisara restaurant. Now these are all the images that are given. So we have the Western PA label, the Buy Fresh Buy Local logo, our partner circle, and then a point of purchase sign, which gives you the opportunity to make some notations inside the white area of what you have on display. There are a few things that you need to know about the images. So first of all, the partner fees cover the use of signage for the period of 1 year only, and that is the calendar year for which the dues were paid. Sometimes folks confuse this with PASA membership fees, which are paid on a rolling 12-month basis from the time that you joined and became members. For Buy Fresh Buy Local partner fees, they're always on the calendar year time period. Okay, also only official and unmodified versions of the brand graphics and language should be used, so there shouldn't be any tweaking to color schemes or fonts or anything of the like. Materials should be used only in connection with products grown or raised in Western PA. So, for example, you might be a retailer who's also selling things that are grown within Pennsylvania, but maybe they're not within the Western Pennsylvania area. So what we want to do is just make sure we're only using those images in connection with those products grown or raised in the 19 counties of Western PA. Also, items marked for wholesale out of the state or area should not be represented with the Buy Fresh Buy Local brand or images. And finally, signs or labels should not be applied directly to food items. So this last one is a little bit interesting. You know, it just relates back into the potential for lawsuits, that if anyone was to sue due to a bad food item, that they wouldn't be able to therefore sue the Buy Fresh Buy Local brand in addition to that. So knowing what you need to know and having seen the images, during our January event we had the opportunity to participate in small group activities to really think through how we can use these images in our businesses. We broke down into 4 different business categories: farms, farmers markets, retail, and restaurant, and had the opportunity to think just on a general business level to be able to then apply that back to our own business and what we might be able to be doing. So the questions asked in that discussion were, first of all, how can this business represent themselves as a Buy Fresh, Buy Local partner? How can they use the images and where? Also, going a little deeper, how can this business strengthen their ties to the local food system or Buy Fresh, Buy Local network? And finally, how can this business communicate their local sourcing to their customers? So I think it's a good idea to take a little bit of time as you're becoming a Buy Fresh, Buy Local partner to really reflect on these questions for your business and to continuously come back to reflect on them throughout the year. Through our activity, we were able to come up with a few best practices. So for example, if we're talking about a farm, you may use the Buy Fresh, Buy Local graphics on your farm sign. You might participate in events such as a farm tour or Local Foods Week or Month to really interface with the public and make that connection. For a farmer's market, you would of course want to use as much signage as you can to label your market, promote your market, using it at the table as well. Here's your point of purchase signs. And another thing that you would want to do is try to encourage your farming members to become Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners as well. For a retail store, you have a lot of good opportunities for using the signage inside the store, using Buy Fresh, Buy Local signs, hanging, or for your point of purchase. You also have the opportunity to use some labeling of the farms that the produce is from or that the items are from, maybe using images, maybe telling a story, or here in the example on the left using some statistics telling about the owners, how far the farm is from the store location. And then finally, for a restaurant, of course, you want to use those Buy Fresh, Buy Local signs anywhere you can, on the menu, in the store, on table displays in the restaurant. And then also make the connection to your local growers on your menu. So maybe saying on the menu what farm this is from. So notice here we have Prairie Earth Farm roasted beets. Also inside the restaurant, listing what farms you're sourcing from, maybe having some photos and images. So we have a full list of best practices available on our website, pasafarming.org/WPA BFBL. So please visit that for some more information and contact me, Jessie, Jessy, at pasafarming.org for any questions or suggestions. Another resource we have for Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners is the website buylocalpa.org, which is really a website available for consumers to find fresh food. So notice our little label for the Fresh Food Finder. Here is the outlay of our website. So you'll notice that it lists things by category. It breaks it down by farmer's market, farm, restaurant, different business categories. Customers can do a search by their zip code to find farms in that area. And local food providers are able to also have a profile here where they can list what their products are, what's in season, who their trading partners are, and then if their trading partners are also listed as local food providers on this website, they can link out to their profiles, which really highlights all the connections that they have as well. It's just a really useful tool and a great opportunity to connect customers into finding where they can find local foods in Western PA. So now we're going to go beyond the images and talk about a new project that we have going on with PASA right now called The Real Deal. This started off with a research project in coordination with the Farmers Market Coalition, Crossroads Research Center, and SQN Communications, which is producing a graphical element for us to be able to use. What this project is about is that we were finding some problems in that the marketplace was full of competing claims of what's local. There was confusion amongst consumers and lack of a standard definition of what local is. So we found needs to be a vision and standard of local food that's difficult to dilute or co-opt, and also encouragement and support for grocers, farmers market managers, and restaurateurs to take steps towards implementing and upholding this searching vision of local food. Defining local can be a challenging one because the term is a local one. There's no single standard definition across the U.S. It's different in different regions. We know that usually when folks say local, they're referring to a specific geographical area. This might be a miles radius, it might be within 50 miles, it might be within 250 miles. But usually it's more than geography. The concept of local is also, we found, about perceived freshness and quality and the community connections that are fostered by trading food locally. So the Real Deal project has a few goals. And the first is a clear standard of local food system engagement for farmers markets, restaurants, and food retailers defined by sourcing and labeling best practices. Also for markets, restaurants, and food retailers to be able to evaluate their local food system engagement based on a defined standard for their industry and identify and initiate improvements. Also for consumers to have access to the most important information about food identified as locally sourced. Markets, food businesses, and restaurants can increase customer satisfaction and loyalty through direct relationships with farmers and by ensuring transparent practices. And finally, for farmers to benefit from local market growth and the premiums of direct marketing relationships. So the goals of this project is to develop a toolkit of two main things. The first is a self-assessment tool where farmers markets and food-related businesses can assess their depth of localness and identify areas for improvement. And the second is an infographic report, which would be the results produced into an engaging infographic to communicate their information to customers. Here's an example of the results of a self-assessment tool for Monongahela Groceries, highlighting a few key pieces of information about their store and what is local to them. So showing how much food they brought from local farms, how many local farms they purchased from, the distance of the farms from the store. Also down below, potential for more detailed information about their labeling practices and their ties to the community. And then here are a few examples of infographics. And the key with this is to be eye-catching and to really communicate all that information in an attractive way, an easy to look at, and a quick way. So stay tuned for this. It'll be rolling out in the spring of 2015. So going back, I just want to recap some of the additional benefits of the Buy Fresh Buy Local Partner program. One is listing as a Buy Fresh Buy Local Partner in select publications. Currently we have, if you are a CSA farm and want to be in our PASA's annual CSA guide, it's also published in Edible Allegheny. Here to the right is the 2014 issue of the CSA guide with Edible Allegheny. If you're a farmer's market, we'll put you in the Edible Allegheny's Farmer's Market Guide with Buy Fresh Buy Local indication. Also PASA's Business Member Resource Guide. Now for that one, you must also be a PASA member at the business member level as well. And then you'll have opportunities to promote your business news, events, or needs in PASA's Western PAE newsletter, reaching an audience of about 5,000 people. So this will be consumers and other business members. Deadline to get your news in there is the 20th of each month for publication in the following month. You can also represent your business and Buy Fresh Buy Local at consumer outreach events. So for example, here in Pittsburgh, So for example, here in Pittsburgh we have the Farm to Table Conference, so you can volunteer to represent your farm or business at that event, as well as Buy Fresh, Buy Local, and other opportunities to connect with other Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners. A couple other ways to stay involved. You might promote the Buy Fresh, Buy Local program through your networks and to your current trading partners. Use social media to highlight the Buy Fresh, Buy Local partner program and local food-focused events. And just want to say right here that we do have a Facebook page for Buy Fresh, Buy Local Western PA. So like us on Facebook, invite your friends to like us on Facebook, request that we like your business from that page as well. Okay, and then just feel free to post on there and continue making connections through that social media channel or other social media channels that you may have. As we already stated, contribute your news articles and pictures to be used online in newsletters and through promotional materials and activities. You may develop a display at your business to include Buy Fresh, Buy Local signage, materials, or other information on local food. Host or participate in, collaborate, or an event that highlights local food and farming to the public, or that might be during Local Food Month, September, or at any other time of the year. Or you might develop your own unique event that fits into PASA's Ways to Give program, which is a fundraising program, or some other type of fundraising that you come up with. And maybe improve access to healthy local food in your community by organizing or participating in a food donation program. And then the final other way to stay involved, serve on the Buy Fresh, Buy Local Steering Committee. So newly formed in 2015 is the Buy Fresh, Buy Local Steering Committee. As of January 27, 2015, here are the names for folks involved in the committee. So the committee was open to Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners, as well as active and engaged consumers. And I think it is important to note that many of our folks listed under the consumer category are still tied in with local food businesses, farmers markets, nonprofit organizations that promote the local food economy. So we're going to get towards the end here. We're going to go back towards the details, recapping our local partner fees. As you see, it is half off for PASA members. The farm and farmers market category is a little bit lower cost than restaurant, retailer, and other local food providers. If you don't see the category of your business on here, please contact PASA for a quote. If you have multiple locations, you can just add an extra $50 for each additional site. And finally, strengthening our movement, because the strength of our movement really depends on everyone coming together as active proponents of the program and champions of the local foods movement. So I want to initiate here a call to action to become a Buy Fresh, Buy Local champion. Spread the word through word of mouth. So if you're a Buy Fresh, Buy Local partner, why not invite others to become Buy Fresh, Buy Local partners? So if you are a farm, for example, that sells to a restaurant, why not invite the restaurant to become a partner?